Cody, when you look back, on your college career as a whole, what have you learned the most about yourself through these past 6 years?
Mm, Probably, I don't know. That's a good question. I would say that I just stay consistent. That's one thing. I just always just kept pushing forward, never let anything like sway me or, you know, set me back. Just kept trying to push forward and keep improving.
And when you look ahead to this weekend in Coastal Carolina, what excites you the most about going up against them at home, being a ranked team and things like that?
It's always, cool to be able to play against a ranked team. It's a great opportunity. Them and App State are kind of like the cream of the crop of the Sun Belt. So, it's always an honor to get to share a field with one of those teams.
We'll go to Maddie Hursick from the Breeze.
Hey, Todd. So talk to me a little bit about, working with the people that were also in the frame a few minutes ago, working with Chris and Percy and, your other seniors that kind of took you and kind of helped you get your footing once you got here at JMU and how you've been able to grow as a leader with them beside you.
They just welcomed me with open arms and then, accepted me for who I am. And, we all mesh pretty well together and, we all are great leaders on the team and earn respect and also give respect. So I feel like we just, it was easy mesh.
And then if you could pick out your favorite moment throughout this season, so at least so far, what would it be and why?
My favorite moment this year was last game when Percy shook the safety to get the lead of the game, to get the lead. That was my favorite moment of the season. And then close second was App State. Close second. But that was my favorite.
All right, we'll go to David Teal from Richmond.
Todd, since you mentioned those two games, Georgia State and App State, what does it take for a team to overcome those kinds of deficits and come back to win?
I think it starts with the locker room. I always, preach this that, you can go in the locker room and be able to sit in any spot of the locker room and have a good conversation with anybody on the team. And I just think that's really what it is. We all, are a brotherhood and we play for one another. So I feel like if you don't have that, it's hard to come back from deficits like that.
So meaning there's mutual trust and belief in one another, not only in the locker room, but between the lines on the field. Am I interpreting you right?
Yeah. It has to start in the locker room first before it can lead to the field. So if you have that, that trust and that love factor for one another, then, sky's the limit.
All right, we'll go to Grant Johnson from the Breeze.
So Todd, I've got to ask, have you guys had a decision yet on if you're going to be wearing all black this weekend or purple uniforms? Do you know yet?
I think that's out of my jurisdiction. I don't know if I could speak on that, but I could just show you this. So I'll just show you that. That's my answer.
Hey, Percy, I know we talked earlier, but I wanted to follow up on something you had mentioned. You talked a lot about, just relying on each other in, some of those harder moments that you guys faced through from the season. And it's kind of been tossed around here talking about, what it takes to come back after a game where you're down, like App State, like Georgia State. What did you see, coming back from those games, and what's made the difference for you guys?
What I saw was everyone just being on the same page in terms of not giving up, not thinking the game was over. Both App State and this previous game against Georgia State, even when we were down, no one was going around head down, all that. Everyone was like, all right, we understand that we're making mistakes and we just got to clean up our mistakes and just play our game of football. And that's what we did.
And then what about Coastal Carolina this week? It presents a different challenge that you guys maybe haven't seen before when it comes to their defense.
With a team like Coastal Carolina, we just got to be on top of our responsibilities as a team. The receivers got to go out, run their routes, make their blocks. O-line has to, protect the quarterback, pick up the right guys in the run game. We have to protect the rock as well. Everyone has their job to do, and we go out there and everyone does their job, their responsibility, and we'll be all right.
Let's go over to Noah from the DNR.
Hey, Percy, you've been here for 6 years. Do you have a favorite memory or moment, from being at JMU?
Favorite memory or moment in terms of like football or like in general?
Could be either one.
Football probably just be I would have to say just the COVID time is going to be something like it's I don't want to say it's a favorite memory, but it's like going to be a memorable time for me just because of how different everything was, and just going through every single day, not knowing what's going on, just being out there with the guys, some people working out, some people over there, like it's just a lot going on. I think the COVID time was just a time where just things were different, and I just enjoyed my time with teammates and just everybody.
And then what do you hope your impact is on this team? Obviously being here for a while, and you've kind of been the face of the team, as some people called you earlier in the year. So what do you kind of hope your impact was?
Well, I mean, I just want to leave my mark here. I mean, I've been here for 6 years, as you said before, and I want people to just be like, all right, Percy was a good leader. Percy was a good player he was a good guy on and off the field. I want the guys to look up to me and be like, all right, I want to be like him. I want to move like him. I want to just be successful here at JMU. And yeah, I just want to leave my mark here and just be someone that people can look back and be like, all right, this is the formula you got to follow to be successful.
And then the last thing for me is, you're 2 touchdowns away from tying the all-time rushing touchdown record. What is it like to be sitting in that spot, after being, here for so long, but also, remembering that time that you were a freshman and didn't have any touchdowns?
I mean, honestly, to be honest, I would have never thought I would have been in this spot. I believe in myself, yeah, definitely, but to this extent, I just gotta blame it on trusting the process and just believing in myself and just really just trying to better myself every single year. And I just feel like the work that you put in off the field, like behind the scenes, is always going to show on the field. And that's what I'm gonna keep on doing, just keep on working, and everything's going to come.
Go over to David.
Percy, even though JMU can't go to the Sun Belt title game, if you beat Coastal on Saturday, will you consider yourself Sun Belt East champions?
Oh, 100%. 100%. We definitely will. Definitely will. I mean, you look at the standings and you look at everything about it. When we get this win, yeah, we'll consider ourselves Sun Belt East champions.
Given that this is the program's first year in the FBS, how satisfying would that be?
I mean, be very satisfying to come in and just with what we've already done is already amazing. But to finish off the right way, yeah, that's just going to be something that we're going to remember for the rest of our lives. And that's something we're going to keep on working every single day this week so that Saturday we're ready to play our best game of football.
All right, we'll finish off with Grant.
Percy, kind of spanning your whole career again, I guess in your 6 years as a Duke, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned about yourself over your time since you got here in 2017?
I've learned how to take care of my body better. I've learned how to just understand what my body needs and how to just like move and maneuver my way around. All right, how am I going to attack treatment this week? How am I going to attack strength and conditioning this week? I've learned a lot about my body and just a lot more about the game of football and the process of what I have to do just to put myself in the best position to be successful.
And maybe to follow up on that, just, this, maybe looking at this year alone, is this first year in the FBS what you thought it was going to be when the year started?
In terms of the play, kinda. I honestly thought it was gonna be a little bit more difficult, to be honest with you. But I mean, I just thought it was gonna be a little bit more difficult. But I mean, we going out there, we've just been playing JMU football, and I mean, we have a winning culture. So we go out there, we try to win games. We just do what we got to do.
Hey, Isaac. So when we talked before this season started, you talked about really wanting to kind of make a name for yourself this year after dealing with injuries and, having a little bit of a taste of what you were looking for last season. And now you've do you feel like you've kind of spoken that into reality? Do you feel like you really kind of made a name for yourself this last year?
Yeah, for sure. I think I've been having a really good season so far. There's still some plays that I left out on the field in some of these past games, but I definitely feel like I've made a name for myself. And by the way, I've been able to play this season.
And then what about Coastal Carolina this week kind of makes it a challenge you guys maybe haven't really seen before yet this season?
A lot of the stuff they do on offense with the speed option and a lot of the gadget stuff and all the smoke and mirrors, that's a lot different from the teams we played up to this point in this season. So it brings a different challenge of discipline and eye discipline and technique. So that's something that we definitely got to focus on the entire week so that we can be prepared for all the different looks and formations that we'll see when we play them this Saturday.
And then, so with Coastal Carolina, trying to potentially fight their way for a New Year's Six Bowl, and there's a lot of kind of hype around them in the G5 realm. How exciting is it for you guys to be able to have a little bit be able to have the home field advantage and be able to come out and, potentially shock the world one more time before the end of the night?
I just think it's really exciting because it's another chance to win a football game, regardless of who we're playing. I just think to be able to finish off my senior year was like a win. That's what I'm really excited for, regardless of who the opponent is. So I feel like that's going to be the biggest aspect of it for me in terms of excitement.
We'll go over to Noah.
When you think of Percy, what comes to your mind when you think of a guy like him?
Ugly. That's a pretty good Nah, I think of a great teammate. I would say Percy's a real great teammate. He's always there if you need to talk or if you need some type of help. He's always there to help. So I feel like that's what I would think. A very caring person.
And what kind of impact, has he had on this program, just being here for so long, but also going through so much at the same time with this team?
I think he's been a good role model on the on the offense in terms of not only the running backs, but the offensive players in general. Just being able to see a guy who works hard, but also plays hard too, who can balance the outside world and football and when to be serious and when to have fun and just showing how to be a professional. I feel like that's something that he really brings to the team, and people can look up to him and see how to act to achieve somewhat of the form of success that he has as a college football player.
We'll head over to David from Richmond.
Isaac, JMU is allowing only 2.5 yards per carry to opponents. That's the best in the country. What is the key to that? And is that a source of pride for you guys on that defensive front?
Yeah, it's definitely a source of pride for the defensive front and the front seven, all of us in general. And I feel like the key to that is just physicality at the line of scrimmage, resetting the line of scrimmage, so making running backs have to cut early or quarterbacks on zone reach have to read things faster and stuff like that, getting people uncomfortable with the timing of their plays and stuff like that. I feel like that is a big role, plays a big role. And then also us being disciplined in what gap we have and allowing the linebackers behind us to flow and fall back in the gaps and do their jobs, because we got really good linebackers in the back end. So I feel like us just being disciplined, but also playing physical and resetting the line, those are the keys.
If JMU wins Saturday, are you guys the Sun Belt East champions?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're going to be at the top of the thing. So I would assume that's what being the first team in the standings would mean. So yeah, for sure.
We'll head over to Grant.
Isaac, I'm sure obviously Saturday is, what you're focused on right now, but after Saturday, is the NFL something that's on your mind as far as, pursuing the next level?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely the plan. But I'll tackle that after the game. You know, I still got a lot of thinking to do and stuff. So, but right now it's really about the football game, and then after that, hopefully, my play this season will earn me the chance to go and do that afterwards.
For sure. And then obviously, I think for this Saturday, it's the earliest game you guys have played this year. Do you enjoy playing noon games or early afternoon games, or you prefer more of like the late afternoon, night type games?
I think it kind of depends. Like, so when we're at home, I'd rather play like at nighttime because afterwards we can just go straight home. But when we're away, I'd rather play earlier so that we can get back home sooner. But I don't really have a preference. That's just a little thing that I'd be like if I had to choose. But for the most part, since we're home, like, it doesn't really matter.
Chris, when you first got to JMU, you told me that you walked on and kind of took a chance on yourself. And, you know, fast forward 2.5 years later, you're 2 touchdowns away from tying the record. You know, if someone had told you that when you had walked onto the team, you know, what would you have thought? And what is it now to be in that position to be like for you?
Yeah, if somebody would have told me that when I first came onto the team, I would have been like, stop lying, you know, like I can't do that in 2 years. So it's crazy to see where I'm at right now, like in 2.5 years, like I said, like to be 2 touchdowns away from tying the record for all-time touchdowns at JMU is amazing. And, you know, if I don't get that, I mean, I'm still content. I came in and did what I'm supposed to do in a short amount of time. So it's just, I'm grateful to be where I'm at right now.
And then, you know, it seems like most teams, they know that you're the top receiver for JMU, but you still find ways to, you know, get over 100 yards each week. And, you know, what are you able to do to separate in the secondary like that, but also, you know, be able to rebound from a game like you had a few weeks ago where you didn't really get anything going?
Yeah, it's 2 things really. I give some credit to Coach Shanahan, you know, trying to find different ways to get me the ball and get me open. Also, I just kind of, you know, try to use my strengths on the football field, which are my speed and my quickness to get myself open down the field.
All right, we'll head over to Maddie.
Hey, KT. So this is JMU is a program that you've been around for quite some time, even though you started at VMI. With all of the senior day stuff going on and happening on Saturday, knowing that you've grown up around this program, how important and how significant does it feel for you to be able to know that you got to watch this team when you were young and now you get to graduate from it on Saturday?
Yeah, it's gonna be it's kind of like it's a surreal experience. You know, both of my parents went here, my dad played here, and now I'm finishing my career here. So it's kind of full circle. I came to games when I was little, like you said. So it's gonna be emotional, but I'm gonna try to save that to the end of the game. During the game, I'm probably gonna be locked in, not really think about that. But after the game's over, I'll probably, you know, reflect on everything that's gone on in my life around JMU and JMU football. So it's gonna be an emotional day, I would say.
And then talk to me about what you've seen out of Todd throughout this year. I know you guys are always close. I mean, heck, you asked the question to him on this past Saturday at the press conference. So, I mean, what's it like seeing him grow and thrive at JMU this past season?
Yeah, I think he's just become, you know, a perfect leader for the team, and he's just become super comfortable with everybody on the team. And if you're comfortable and confident, if you're confident as a quarterback, then you can really achieve anything. And that's what he's done throughout the season. He's just exceeded expectations of everybody, and he's continuing to do that. He's a great person on and off the field.
We'll go over to David.
Chris, has the upgrade from FCS to FBS, has anything about it surprised you?
I wouldn't say anything about it surprised me. No, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be that much of a difference, like skill position wise. It's the difference from FCS to FBS is in the trenches. So I knew it wasn't really going to be that much of a jump for me. So I don't think anything really surprised me.
And given your long history, your family's long history with the program, how satisfying is it for you, or how rewarding to be on the ground floor as JMU made this transition, and you'll always be part of that first FBS team?
I just think as a team as a whole, this is like a historic season for JMU football in general. This team's always going to be talked about, whether we win on Saturday or not. This team's always going to be a historic team in JMU history that was the first team to go FBS and have a winning record and potentially be Sun Belt East champions.
We'll finish off with Grant.
So, KT, what have you really learned about yourself during your time at JMU? Because I mean, it seems like your time here was bookend with, COVID when we got here. And then, that turns into obviously now not being able to, play past the coastal game and just kind of just adversity in general. But I guess what have you kind of learned about yourself through, all of that, extra stuff?
Yeah, so COVID was hard because I had to sit out the 2019 season when I transferred in. So COVID messed everything up. I didn't get the spring ball, so that kind of was a setback a little bit, and I had to sit out even longer to play football. But I've learned a lot coming into JMU. I learned a lot from sitting out in 2019 from Brandon Polk and Riley Stapleton, and I think I've grown a lot as a receiver. Like last year, competing with another great receiver in Antoine. So I've definitely learned a lot since coming to JMU, and I've definitely grown as a receiver.
And do you feel like this offense right now, coming off of last week and having to, score, being down by, 20 points multiple times, coming back, do you feel like this offense is back to clicking to where it was for the first, 5-6 games of the year? Do you feel like this offense is, at that point and, really kind of clicking as the season ends?
Yeah, I think we're coming right back around to where we were at the start of the season. So it's great to be back to where we were at. We lost those 3 games in the middle of the season, but it never really put us down. And we always knew we were going to come back and bounce back and be the same offense that we were to start the season.